The Energy Regulatory Authority is meeting stakeholders, including officials of sugar factories involved in the generation of power. So let's link up with our very own reporter, Laura Tieno, who has the details on all this. Laura?
Well, indeed, good morning, Zinzi. And as you have rightly put it, the ERC is meeting stakeholders in the sugar industry, basically to have a conversation on how that particular sector will be impacting on the national grid. Remember, the country's current power demand stands at about 1,800 megawatts, and it's expected to go higher to about 3,600 megawatts in the next year. So, of course, the conversation that ERC is seeking to start is how this particular sector can boost, or rather can assist the main supply of electricity to sort of ensure that all consumers have their electricity in their houses. Sugar industries are now very key in this conversation, because 70% of the byproduct, which is bagasse, can actually be used to produce electricity. Some of the companies in question here, including Kibos Sugar, have already been in that business of generating power and selling it to KPLC. So, of course, there have been a few challenges here and there. So ERC is seeking to start that conversation where they will be addressing the challenges that sugar industries are facing in the production of electricity, and the ripple effect that will have to the entire conversation around energy in terms of producing, in terms of favorable tariffs, that is, towards KPLC, and what that will mean for the consumer at the grassroots level. Remember also yesterday, not only matters of electricity for households, there had been an issue of electricity that was raised at the budget reading, where the CS Henry Rotich had indicated that there will be a 30% rebate for manufacturers. So, of course, coupled with that, that means that sugar industries or sugar companies will be empowered to produce, their production costs will somewhat be reduced, and therefore they will be empowered to have a higher output, and therefore that means that they will be boosting to the national electricity output to ensure that consumers are covered. So, of course, we are expecting to go into the meeting where several stakeholders will be making their presentations on what will be the way forward for sugar industries and the conversation around electricity, Zinzi.
Well, Laura, in this 2019-2020 budget that was just read yesterday by CS Henry Rotich, the likes of Sugar and Mira have been boosted in terms of finances. Are they feeling a bit more hopeful that in this year to come the sugar industry will get a boost?
Well, Zinzi, that was somewhat a reprieve for the sugar players in this particular area, if so to call them, because the CS had indicated that there will be allocations to cushion the sugarcane farmers per se. And remember, that has been a heated discussion in the past month, because some of the issues that were being raised by the sugar task force that was called for by the president was that farmers are the ones suffering in the chain of sugar production. So, of course, that revelation by the CS yesterday will, of course, be an encouragement to farmers who will be taking their produce now more to the sugar companies, and therefore that means that the increased production of sugar will be meaning increased an increase in the byproduct, which is bagasse, which will be which is an essential ingredient in the production of electricity. And also remember that the sugar industry is currently facing a serious discussion around privatization, where private investors are supposed to come and get at least 51% stake in the current state sugar millers. So, of course, that revelation by the CS yesterday will be a boost, because farmers will be empowered to take their produce to sugar companies, which will be producing more, and therefore they'll have more bagasse to boost the national electricity output, Zinzi.
All right, thank you so much, Laura. That's Laura.